was an offensive coordinator for 19 years. And here's the thing I learned. You can have a huge candy store. And you know, here's what happens as an offensive coordinator. All right, I got Skittles. I got a Hershey bar, I got a Snickers, I got a Mars bar, I got a Milky Way. I got Tootsie Rolls. And on and on and on and on and on and on. My daughter was here, I'd have no problem naming 25 or 30. But here's my point. When you look at all that, the first problem you have running all this stuff is what is the right thing to call and when's the right time to call it. And what I'm going to tell you is this. 5 run plays. I don't care what level you're on. 5. Primary runs. Those are the ones we are going to know the adjustments to during the game, how we can run these things in tough situations during the game. What the adjustment, and it might be, if this run's not going, this run does because this one complements that one, okay? It might be just as simple as that. Or it might be this run right here is just needs a blocking adjustment. We need to step it, block it, or whatever, okay? Cross block, I don't care. It might be an adjustment. But if you got it like that, you'll find your decisions and the players' decisions and the adjustments will come faster in the course of the game. And everything happens naturally. Pass protection wise. In college, you can get away with 6 or 7, but that's a lot to teach. A lot. In the pros, they say you can get away with 10. They're full of shit. I'm going to tell you what, with the amount of blitzes that people bring, hey, you know what? Hey, quarterback's going, who has that guy? If quarterback's got to ask that question, you got too many. He ought to know. That's yours. That's your guy. The one that just knocked the shit out of you, that's your hot read. You know what I mean? You have to, hey, when the quarterback's asking, that's too many. When the offensive line is unsure about, hey, it's too many. Hey, it's better that they know how to do what they're supposed to do than to have too much. It really is. Because you'll feel better as a coach. We got out-executed or we got beat. Not I screwed it up because I called plays that we're just not good at running. Or we haven't run against that front, or we didn't practice that week. And here's the other problem. You practice all this stuff, you get to the game. The thing that pissed me off most, the offensive coordinator, I learned very fast from a player. I had an offensive lineman, a very smart guy. He said to me, this question right here, unbelievable. He says, Coach, that reverse we put in. I said, yeah? How come we didn't run that? I said, well, I just never saw really a good time to run it during the game. Oh, he was like Columbo. He started walking out of the room. Hey, what about that halfback pass we were working on? Well, I just never, I was looking for a spot, but I never, oh. Look at that quarterback track we were working on. Here's just not the reason why. It's about to do or die. Yeah, but I don't understand why we practice all this stuff, but we don't call it. Or we practice it once and you call it 4 times. Okay? So, here's my theory. Being a better offensive coordinator. And it was amazing. I put the reverse in, put the halfback pass in. Hey, any little trick shit you put in, you run it your first 15, 20 plays. You run it. They might even be looking for it if you develop a reputation for it. But I'm going to tell you something. You put the reverse in, you get them thinking the rest of the game. You got to watch out. They like to do this stuff. You're setting the tone. Okay? And plus, the players feel like, hey, you hit one. You're getting them excited to the enthusiasm for the rest of the game. Big plays create what? Enthusiasm, motivation, that kind of stuff. That'll help your game plan, okay? I'm getting off on this subject, merely because I drew all this I formation stuff up, and this stuff doesn't matter unless you want to coach it, believe it, you know the little ins and outs of it and all that kind of stuff. And it's, I could sit up here and talk to you, all I know about the Power G, all I know about the sprint draw of power, and I'm not sure if you're running nothing but inside zone. I mean, I don't know how much of an interest you have in it. You don't have that much interest, you're not going to get much out of it, okay? So, with that bottom line, we'll start with this, okay? I'm going to start talking about these plays. But if you want specific technique, which is I think what you want, and fundamentals, then you say, hey, show us how you block the double team. Show me how you block this. And we'll spend more time talking about the actual blocking than we are just talking about play. Okay? Is that all right with everybody?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let's start first with using the fullback. All right? Now, let me just say this about the fullback. The fullback is an unappreciated part of the I offense. And we don't, here's one thing we've gotten away from offensively. The defenses are counting on us. They want us to hand the ball deep now. They want you to hand it off to the tailback. Here's why. Their stunts and their movements are better executed with a little bit of time to execute them and to get off blocks, which plays more into deeper set stuff. You have to, if I was in charge, like the head coach, and we were going to run an I offense, I would think it'd be very important to have a good I fullback. What I'm saying is this, a guy who can run a little bit. I'd take a little less off the blocking because I can teach him a couple of things, because you can cut in college or cut in pro. I could teach him a couple of things to do, and he doesn't always have to be a battering ram in there, okay? I could do that, all right? But I would like the guy to be a little bit of a runner. Why? Because I'd like to use the guy to head quick hitters, you know, a fast stretch dive, because a lot of that stuff is really good versus like pressure defense versus movement defenses, because all they got to do is make one mistake and the guy hits through there quick enough that they can't react to him. In other words, you got 4 yards before the guy they can get him down. A lot of times the tailback, he can get it closed off just as he gets there. How many times you see the hole and you go, wow, oh man, we couldn't hold it. Hey, that's because he's a tailback and it takes a little longer to hit that stuff. If he was a fullback, yeah, he'd have gotten through there. Okay? That was the whole premise behind Bill Yeoman and the split back veer. They weren't going to give you time to think about it. They were going to get into you, tie you up, get into the box, and bam! Hand the ball off. Right there. Fast. Split back veer. Okay? I mean, it was fast. I mean, guys are lined up at 5 yards and smoking downhill. Okay? Yeah, sure, they'd hit the 1 yard gain just like we all do. But they would pop in the day. If you go back and look at some of the most explosive offenses ever in the history of college football, Bill Yeoman's got about 6 of them in the top 10. Running what offense? Split back veer. Why? Because, hey, he taught all the linemen, he didn't need big, physical, lock you up linemen. He just needed some guys to come off the ball, tie you up, and he was going to smoke it through there. He was going to have backs hit seams and run hard. And then they ran all the dump pass, and, some of the stuff that all comes off of that makes it really tough. So I'm telling you right now, there's a big advantage to using the fullback. If you run I offense and you don't use the fullback a little bit, I think you're limiting your abilities, okay? Obviously, you gotta decide how you want to run the stretch dive. There's advantage to zone blocking a stretch dive, which is like doing it out of I formation. You need a fullback who can kind of feel cuts a little bit. Sometimes that's not as good because some of those fullbacks they're power runners. They don't find cuts as well. They don't find cuts as well. You're better off doing what blocking? Man. We're going to create the hole here, hit it there to whatever you see. If you're going to zone block, then you want him to stretch and be able to find seam. Okay? All right? Versus 46 of bear defense. Running the fullback was one of the ideal things against 46 of bear defense. What people would do is simply take the tailback here. All right, there you are with an 8-man front, bear defense, right? You got 3 inside. You got 2 linebackers. You got a Will end and a Sam over your tight end and an end outside. Okay? Well, we knew if we took the tailback, there's 8 guys up there, and we motioned him to the weak side right here. They had to remove one of those 8 guys out there to cover. Well, as they removed him, on this side, they had a defensive end, or excuse me, a will end and a defensive end right there, okay? And what we did is we just cross-blocked it. We blocked down, kicked this guy out, and we told the middle linebacker, hey, we're going to try to run the center through you. He might not get you or he may get you. But you have to make the tackle on this because we got a natural down block, a guy who's got contained the defense kicked out, and the guy who was a linebacker in that spot had to be the what? He's the adjuster. He had to go with the emotion. So, in effect, I'll draw it up for you. This became Buddy Ryan hated. Matter of fact, the Bears used to run it against themselves all the time. And he hated it because it did cause his defense a bunch of problems. And the biggest reason why, it was quick, it hit quick. It hit quick, okay? And it looked like this. 4-2 nickel, 4-2 nickel. We're talking about off tackle, run game, okay? Now this is against a pressure front. And I'll draw it up with a will and then tackle. Right here. People do it a lot of different ways. Sometimes the strong safety's over here, and the mic adjusts there. I'm just doing, all right? Emotions. He comes out of the box. Okay? We know he's the adjuster. Okay? He blocked down. He kicked out. He moved to a middle position. So that's the way the defense looked. After the motion, he slid over to a middle position. He's out. He took this guy out, so this guy no longer is there. He's out here now. Okay? So that's the way that thing looked. And what you did is, he scrambled, crawled, bent his way to that guy's ankle. He tried, and whatever he could do to get to his ankle, just to get him on the ground, tie him up, whatever he could do. And then we just, on the snap, said, hit, turn around, hand that fullback who hit this area right off that guard at 100 miles an hour. You got a down block. Now, this is different than the I formation when you down block. Why? Because about the time the down block's hitting me, as I'm starting to react to it, the ball's going through there. So this guy does not become a factor. This guy's not a factor. That guy's the factor. Okay? And here's what happened. Sometimes you got him, sometimes you didn't. But here's how they knew how well this play was designed. He'd run like this. He'd scrape. And he'd sometimes see it coming and he'd straighten himself out and this guy would overrun it just a hair. And he'd break that arm tackle going underneath. And they knew that it was good against that defense because it hit fast. That was the weak area of the defense. They still got some strength over here. They got down block, and they got another guy sitting there. Okay? So they knew where the weakness was. Okay? Now, yes?
How do you feel about blocking a man on the line, second level? If he's running on that line, just keep him going right past the hole. What are your thoughts on that?
Say that again?
The second level linebacker there.
Right.
He's pursuing the play. How do you feel about blocking him right on past the hole?
Absolutely. Whatever you can do. You can get on him and drive by the hole, great. If you can get him cut, that's good too. I don't ever limit the offensive line. I tell them, hey, your job's to get him. I'll teach you the footwork. You get through there. If you leverage them, I want them down. I either want them down or cut or whatever. If you don't leverage them, In other words, as I get here, he's starting to cross my face, and then I want you on him. I don't care how far you stay on. I don't care if you take him to the sideline, run by the hole, whatever, you just stay on. Okay?
You'd rather do that than redirect him in another route.
Right. No, don't do that. Don't do that. The only time he should redirect in another route is if he comes out of there and the guy's beat him so severely. I mean, the guy's already gone and I came out late, then hey, for me to turn and try to chase a guy now, hey, I'm gonna take away a run lane for the ball carrier. So if I get there and the guy's beat me severely, then I advance to the next level. Because then if he breaks that guy, I've got the next guy. You know what I'm saying? So if you're beat quickly, don't have any chance to get off, and bam. If you're not, then stay on the guy. All right? It's a good question. Okay. It hits quick, less time to react, complements the toss or the option, okay? All right. Now, when I drew it up against, I actually drew it up against two looks. One, your 30 look, and one, your 4-3 look, okay? Now, this is particularly good. I like this against 30 defense. We run that scheme. We used to run the toss against that scheme because with that blocking scheme right here. We run the toss with this blocking scheme. And the reason why we run the toss with that blocking scheme is the 5 techniques were playing like C-gap players. They were no longer 5 techniques. They were not letting you run the toss sweep because they were doing what? They were leveraging you to the outside so that you couldn't just come off the ball and get a leverage position or a cover-up position on them. You couldn't do it. You start to step for them, and your ass was behind them, and they got you leverage. Okay? So we use this blocking scheme. We called it TED and TED scheme. But this was great. And I tried to talk the Lions into it. I said, you know what? Hey, we ought to just give the fullback the ball and run that scheme. Because he gets the ball, and the guard's right in front. He gets through there before the defensive end can react. And this guy right here, the minute he feels him pull out there, he's trying to dip, come up the field, and not get hooked. And there's a hell of a nice seam in there. Now, if the tailbacks run the ball, that thing gets, hey, you got to really stay on those blocks. It's long. It takes long, okay? This right here doesn't take that much. So, again, like I'm saying, I think it's really important to have a couple of these type of plays in your offense where you can do what? Attack quickly. Attack quickly. I coached the wishbone for a while. It was a great experience for me. It's a total team offense. One week the fullback's going to be the star. The next week the quarterback's going to be the star. The next week the halfback's going to be the star. It could be a split end the next week. I mean, it's a total team offense, okay? Everybody's got to work for everybody else in order for it to work, okay? Well, the biggest thing about a wishbone was, the number one ingredient was establish what? Establish a fullback. Because the fullback is the centerpiece of the wishbone. He's the centerpiece of the wishbone. He's what makes the wishbone go. Now, if you play baseball, what do they say? If you want to be good at baseball, where do you need to be good at baseball? Middle. Down the middle. Down the middle. You need a what? A catcher, good pitcher, second baseman or shortstop, and a center fielder. That's where you need to be good. And you need to be good down the middle. You can survive with the others. You have to be good down the middle. It doesn't change in football. You need a quarterback, a center, good tailback, and a good fullback, because he can set the tone, okay? On defense, nose guard, linebacker, safety. You got to have it. You got to have it. If you are absent in those areas right there, you're not good down the middle. Hey, it's kind of like if we had an arrow, okay? If we made the tip of that arrow out of paper, weak, then it wouldn't penetrate anything. Okay, we make that tip of that arrow is a steel tip. then hey, we're strong down the middle, and that thing will penetrate. Okay, if you're strong down the middle, in football, you can have a good offense. If you're strong down the middle in baseball, you can have a good team. Okay, all right, that's it. Now, let me grab this real quick here. All right. This is this is a guard adjustment for the 7 technique. We used to make this call, because teams would do this to us quite a bit. We just make a 7 call, which 7 call just told, when we run the fullback, sometimes they put a guy right in the hole that you're trying to hit a lot of times, okay? And that's pretty good. That's what I call a defensive game adjustment. They're going to put a guy right there. Well, you got to make an adjustment on top of that. So if the tight end ever got up there and the end was in a 7 technique, he made a 7 call, which automatically told the guard, be ready to come outside me, okay? And I told you, what's that guard supposed to look at? Some of you guys, we talk about those pulls. Hey, sight your target. He'll take you where you need to go. You don't need to be looking at all the other stuff. Well, a lot of times, he may line up in here and come out on the snap, okay? But sometimes, they'll just line him up out there. They'll just line him up out there. That's your gap. You got the D gap out there. You take the D gap, all right? Now, again, we're talking about running the fullback off tackle right here on a stretch dive. You can zone block this and feel okay about it. You can block it like this too. You can take this, you can take the tight end and block here and let the tackle pull if you feel strong enough with the guard to do that. Okay? Which a lot of times is what we did too. We called that was Ted to us, okay? That was Ted to us. All right? Whenever the tackle pulled, it was Ted. All right? All right. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go through this quickly, and then we'll start talking some fundamentals of it. All right? I'll go, all right, sprint draw. All right? Hey, best play in football, I'll write this down. Now, here's why. Every play that I coach, okay, in particular, certain plays that I coach, there's 4 or 5 of them. Hey, I feel I'm the best play in football. I tell the guys, Coach, you think that play's the best play? And that play? I said, yeah. They're the 5 best plays in football. I'm not putting one ahead of the other because I want you to believe all 5 of them equally. Now, why? Because if you don't sell your offense on what you need to do to win and how you need to do it, hey, you got to believe what you're talking about. Now, sprint draw. Why do I believe it's the best play in football? Here's why, okay? Number 1 is we show pass. We show pass. But we're not what? We're not passing. Number 2 is we're going to time blocks, time up blocks. In other words, we're going to show pass, and when they make a move to go into a pass rush mode, we're going to time the block. In other words, I'm going to show pass, set, and time the block. As you get to a spot where I now can expand you, that's the key word here, expand. If you get to a spot where I can expand you, and I'm going to use your movement to create movement. I'm going to use your movement to create movement, okay? So in other words, come on up here, Randy. Pretty nice shirt. Hey, get a shot of that shirt right there. Huh? Were you looking to get laid today? You know, I'm talking about one of those lays, that you put around your neck. All right. Here's what I'm talking about. Here, I'm going to attack right here. I set. I show pass, all right? Randy wants to rush me. So he starts rushing me, but I'm blinded by his shirt. No. All right. Wants to rush me, all right? So as he starts to rush, right here, I want to be a little late in reacting to him. So in other words, I want him, instead, if he started rushing outside right here, I'd try to work to a what position? A cover-up position, okay? But this time, I'm going to be a hair late on it. As he starts to reach right here, as he goes, Now, this is what I call time of the block. Now, here's the critical part about time of the block. This foot right here, we don't want him to get that spot right there. If he gets this spot right here, he's by my foot. If he gets by my foot, when I hit him, he's gonna roll this thing and decreasing the length. What I want to do, so we're talking a little technique here on how to draw a block, okay? How to draw a block. Now I'm going to tell you, once guys learn how to draw a block, and to me, you got to coach this with a little excitement. It is fun. Why? Because a guy can start his pass rush move and all of a sudden be taken out of the lane. He can be taken 3 lanes out. Okay? So I set. When I feel him start to cross, I take my right foot and I extend it right here. Right there. I want to extend it right there. Now I want to drive my toe. You see where I want to drive my toe? I want my power going there. I don't want to be like this and then try to turn on. That'd be too late. I want to extend my toe to where he's at right now. So all of a sudden, I extend my toe right here. I take my hands right here, and he's moving. But now I'm going to use his movement to create movement to the outside. And the first thing they try to teach these guys is when they feel that happen is to, that's right, roll off and try to retract. Retrace yourself back. You just have to anticipate that. So when you do a drill, remember that punch drill we talked about doing in pass pro? We line all 5 gups, we put them in shades, boom, we step over here like this. Remember that? We're going to do the same thing, only we're going to teach draw blocking now. Everybody's going to work on draw blocking. Set. Guy goes there, boom, extend the foot. Now the difference is you're going to move a couple of spaces. What do you want to do with your alignment? You want to space them out about 2 or 3 yards apart and let them be able to move those guys about 2 or 3 yards each, okay? But the idea is what? Set, show pass, time block. Now look, here's what's the most amazing thing in the world. I know you guys have seen it. Okay, here, ready? All right. What do I want on pass protection with my hands? Tight hands. Okay. Here is Rich. I'm coaching Rich. All right? All right, Rich. Here we go. We're going to do pass protection. Ready? Sit. Hit! All right, Rich. You got to get your hands in. All right? Okay. All right, Rich. We're going to do sprint draw. Okay? I want you to show pass. Ready? Hit! Hey, Rich. How come on draw you show pass, and on pass you show take my body and abuse me? That's amazing to me. I see these guys, I even see it when I'm watching high school. Hey, whoa, I guess on draw, you know. I mean, it's like, oh, here comes a draw, because he don't do that on pass. You know what I mean? It's amazing. Because on pass, he's so worried about missing the guy, he's got to expand himself out as much as possible because he doesn't believe in his feet. You got to trust your set. Trust your set. Your feet, if you've got bend in your knees, your feet will take you to where you need to go to. If you don't have bend in your knee, you're right. You better get your hands out as far as you can get them out. Okay? All right. So the key is the draw set and the pass set on the look the same. Now look the same. Because I'm telling you, they study that stuff too. Okay, hey, when he pass sets, his hands are down here. When he draw sets, he snaps them up real quick. They do. And I mean, it's amazing how many times I coach my own guys, I go, how come when you draw a set, you take a perfect pass set, and when you pass set, you take a perfect shit? You know? I don't understand it. Well, you've got to really emphasize it. That's why when you do the drill, you do the pass, and, all right, hey, now we're doing this draw drill. We're going to do the same technique, only we're going to time block. Extend the foot, boom. He goes this way, extend the foot, and boom. Get the high hand right there, work, and anticipate him trying to roll out. Because if he rolls the other way, it's easy. I mean, if he keeps going, it's easy. You can feel it. If he rolls back, you got to be ready to work back with him. Okay? So, all right. Okay, use your defensive movement to create movement. Expand rushes, create uneven gaps. Why is it the best play in football? For that simple reason right there. We showed them something that we're not doing.